What's going on, everyone? We're standing outside of Williams-Brice Stadium here in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm Travis Brown with the Eagle, with Robert Cessna, also of the Eagle. A&M just beat South Carolina 48-3. It's the largest victory A&M has had since they beat Arkansas in 2012. Largest SEC margin since they beat Arkansas in 2012. Dominating performance by all three phases. Cease, what did you see from this game?
Number one, the defense. I've lately talked about it. I wonder when the defense was going to step up and play the game that I thought we knew they could. Arkansas rushed for over 200 yards. Of course, Florida's scoring on everybody. Alabama. So, giving up yards wasn't that unusual, but I did expect A&M's defense to play better than they did against Arkansas. So tonight I was impressed on the 3 and outs. The fact that I had down, I think I counted up South Carolina on 34 plays at 2 yards or less. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't run inside. They couldn't go outside. Yeah, they had some guys open, but they either dropped them or couldn't get them there.
Yeah, so third downs was particularly huge for A&M, and the play action pass game. First touchdown, all three of their first quarter touchdowns, first half touchdowns were on third down. The second two play action passes for Jalen Wydermyer that were set up by some great Isaiah Spiller runs there in the on third down.
Jimbo talked about, red zone and third downs. Once again, big on third downs. I don't know my stats in front of me. I think it was like 12 of 16. And one of those they converted on a fourth down. South Carolina actually done very well on red zone TD defense. Opponents had only scored 12 of 21. A&M goes 5 for 5. But you got to look at first and second down. A&M setting up 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4, 3rd and 1, 3rd or 2. You convert those. Even one of those was a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. They faked it, and Wiedemeyer's wide open. Once again, if you want to talk offense, I got to talk the offensive line. If I ripped them all last year, I got to praise them this year because South Carolina's – did they have a defensive line out there tonight? Half the time, I didn't think they had a defensive line out there.
A little bit of news first. Damani Richardson, starting safety, sophomore, did not make the trip. He tested positive for COVID on Thursday, so he wasn't available. Keldrick Harper started in his place there in the to start the game. So that was a little bit of news. Also, Isaiah Spiller, again, who had a big-time night tonight, left a little bit hobbled. Jimbo Fisher said, again, it was just precautionary. Last 3 games A&M has had, he's left the game early for precautionary measures and been fine to play the next week. So that's a little bit of news there. Before we break it down a little bit more, Alex, what did you see?
Yeah, I think all around it was just a dominating performance by A&M start to finish. That opening drive, South Carolina missed a wide open pass that easily could have gone for a touchdown. And that was the only glimmer of hope South Carolina had. From then on out, A&M controlled the entire game in all 3 phases. Even though they had the hiccup on the extra point, that was kind of the lone glaring error for A&M, it seemed like. And if that's the worst thing you do, I think you're doing all right. So, dominating win. That's probably A&M's most dominant game they've had since they joined the SEC or since Johnny Manziel played. And so that's saying a lot. And we all know South Carolina is not a great football team. But at the end of the day, A&M start to finish was strong. And we didn't see that last week when they played Arkansas. They got up 42-17. Arkansas scored those 2 touchdowns late. And when A&M started putting in the second string defense and the second string offense, they held South Carolina to the field goal. Haynes King went down and completed the touchdown pass to Max Wright. So all around, Jimbo Fisher's got to be very pleased with the performance his team put up tonight.
Alex brings up a good point. If there is one negative in all of this, it was how the defensive secondary started out. Will Muschamp said that A&M stacked the box. They left some of their guys open in single coverage and man-to-man. Jalen Jones got beat a couple times, and they just couldn't catch the ball. Another time where a pass was dropped. To me, that was about the only negative of the game.
Yeah, and you always got to remember, the way these things go, they're not Alabama receivers or Matt Jones. Colin Hill's not Matt Jones. You see these teams, they study A&M's film, and that tells me in those 2 weeks I was impressed because South Carolina in an extra week, and they still couldn't do anything. But that tells me they watched film, and they probably said, hey, guys, we got to catch these balls. We got to catch these downs. So there's more pressure on them, and there's more pressure on you. You don't make those catches. You don't make those throws, even though the guy's open. And we see that work to the A&M's advantage now, because A&M's the number 7 team, and they're thinking, oh, my gosh, I got to catch that pass. And you don't catch that pass. And then suddenly South Carolina's looking back, oh, if we'd have caught this pass and it had been 7-0, no, you got your butt kicked. 54 plays, you got your butt kicked on 40 of them. And A&M is getting to that point. And I thought the most encouraging thing was the defense, because the offense continues to get better. Spiller, as he said, got hurt, but then they bring in Akne.
A chain.
He does great because the holes are there. The offense does so well. And you know what I like? What everybody likes, it follows A&M a lot. 2 weeks in a row, Mons carried the ball 6 times for 32 or 34 yards. No negative runs. We all wanted him to run the ball more. I think Jimbo was saving him, knowing he needed him early. Mons' legs is another great plus for the equation.
Alex, what was it last week? Was it Ebenezer Spiller or something like that?
It was Ezekiel Jones.
Ezekiel Jones. That's what it was.
You remember that? I wish I could remember. Akne.
A chain.
A chain.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to have to get to know that guy's name, because you know what? He's pretty good.
Just a few stats. I mean, A&M 530 total yards. South Carolina 150. I believe we heard that was the lowest offensive output since like 1995 for South Carolina.
25 years. What A&M's defense? Think about that. 25 years.
Yeah, definitely. So let's look at big picture here. The real big picture. A&M. It was Christmas morning for A&M this season. All day today, because you have Florida, A&M's best win, beating Georgia earlier today, and then you just have Notre Dame, the number 4 team, knocking off Clemson, the number 1 team. All right, Mr. AP voter man, A&M comes out with a very convincing win. If there's any confirmation bias, this is probably one of their best performances of the season. Where do they sit after this?
I've got to go ahead and look at things, but as somebody else asked me that, you got to step back, look at things. Okay. Florida lost at A&M before 130,000 fans. It's tough to win on the road at the SEC. So Florida wins at a neutral site, beats a number 5 team. That's the most impressive win of the year, or A&M's win over Florida. Okay, Notre Dame, impressive win over Clemson without their quarterback. Here's the deal. A&M has to continue to take care of business, because if Florida takes care of business, they're going to win the SEC. A&M can't control Florida now, or they can't control Alabama. But who A&M can control is Texas A&M. And I think today we see a little bit of Jimbo. Jimbo's worried about Texas A&M. He's not worried about Cincinnati or BYU. If his team plays like that, without one of their safeties, without whatever, nobody left on this schedule could beat that team we saw tonight. Not Auburn down there. Nobody at A&M was left can beat that team. The deal is, will we continue to see that team?
Let's end on 2 notes. One, I want to end on kind of my hat tip of the game, my helmet sticker of the game has to go to Keldrick Carper. He's a guy who saw a lot more playing time than Damani Richardson comes in, kind of beats out the senior, but Keldrick Carper has stayed around, stayed as a leader on the team, as a captain a lot of times, even though he doesn't get as much playing time, has been involved with social groups and service groups on campus. Really good guy, and it's good to be able to see him come out, get an interception, have a pretty good game. And I mean, I don't think anyone would have thought he'd be a liability, but certainly fill in admirably for what Damani Richardson was able to do.
I'll give a big shout out to Josh Henson. Last year, I said at this time, I wonder if he's going to come back as O-line coach. Hawker went out when he had that injury. They put in, I think, Brian Robinson, and they went his side to kill out the clock about 4 times to the right side, picked up yardage. That line was opening up some big holes again. So I got to get back to the defensive lines. Terry Price, offensive line, Josh Henson. If the lines continue to do their job, A&M's line's going to keep going up.
And a hat tip to Aaron Hanson for that big first down sack that led to The missed field goal attempt at the beginning, that could have been a big momentum changer. Good play by him. I actually really want to end it on this. Will you show all of our viewers and the people your lovely bag from today?
If everybody knows me, I have a very famous computer case because it has like 30 or 40 stickers on from where I've been in the last 10, 15 years. The zipper broke. It wore out.
And he's carrying his laptop through the airport.
I had to do this. So, Cease, I go to Walmart, got the cheapest thing they had. I could have got one that said, "Go Gamecocks." And I figured, that probably wouldn't go well. So I thought this would be nice for Cease.
All right, there you go. Well, we're the last ones, I think, here at Williams-Brice tonight. Shut the place down. We have a long walk to the car, so we're going to get out of here. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Be sure to check the Eagle, myaggienation.com for all of our recaps, write-ups, Cease's grades from this, and video from all the press conferences today. Cease will be back with some more stuff tomorrow, and we'll be back next week with another big road trip to Tennessee. So thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.